Can you really do a fix and flip with no money out of pocket and profit enough money to pay for your kid's entire college education? Most people who want to do this, they just get paralyzed. They don't know what to do, where to start, or they go down rabbit holes that are unnecessarily. They think they need to start with $100,000 cash just to get started. And for a lot of people, that's just very, very difficult to achieve. They're terrified of losing their life savings. They say, wait, what if? And by the time they feel ready, they've already lost the opportunity. And that's exactly why I'm making this video. I'm not just gonna show you if it's possible, I'm gonna show you how a 41-year-old couple started with zero cash for the deal. They used a specific system to do their very first fix and flip, and they turned it into life-changing profit, not just for them, but for generations to come. And I think you'll be surprised to learn that the key wasn't having the cash or having that $100,000. It was simple. A three-part system that let them find the deal, fund the deal, and flip the deal with confidence. And if you stick around until the end, I'll show you the exact profit they walked away with on this specific deal. Now, if you're new here, I'm Ryan Wright. I am the CEO of The Investor's Edge. And as a prolific fix and flip entrepreneur since 2000, I've built my career on this process and built it into a science, something you can replicate. So with that promise in mind, let's slow down for a moment and meet the couple at the heart of today's story. Meet Steve and Amanda. They're 41 years old. They live in a suburb not too far from a big metro area. Their story is probably very familiar. Steve is a project manager for a construction company, and Amanda's a part-time nurse. They've done everything right. They've worked hard. They've saved diligently, but honestly, they just felt stuck. They looked at their W-2 job and their kids' college future bills, and they knew the current path they were on would not get them to the point of being able to help pay for their kids' college. It just wouldn't get them there. So now let's take a look at the financial blueprint. They had a combined income of about $160,000 between the two of them. They had a 401k for retirement, and they had a small emergency fund of about $20,000. But that was their entire life savings. Like if something went wrong with the car, with the house, with this or that, then they would have to dip into those funds, and they were terrified of risking it. They had a zero cash set aside to actually do real estate deals. And that brings us to the central conflict, their goal and their fear. Their primary goal was crystal clear. Find a way to do a successful fix and flip to add a 529 college plan for their oldest child. But the primary fear was a brick wall. How could they possibly start? They were terrified of being stuck in their W-2 jobs forever simply because they didn't have the $50,000 or $100,000 in startup cash that everybody else was saying that they needed. So that's their situation. They found a potential deal near about $250,000. They took it to a bank, and the bank said, hey, we need $50,000 down, $50,000 for rehab, and you have to have enough money to make the payments along the way for 5, 6, 7 months. They spent months going to conventional banks, pitching their idea of fix and flips. And what did all the banks tell them? They said no. They had zero chance of getting this deal to happen, zero chance of making their goal of what they were trying to achieve. They also found the conventional plan would not fund this property because it was in need of so much work. It wasn't inhabitable. So overall, the numbers were not giving any confidence to a bank to fund their first flip because the baseline was zero. They were getting nowhere. And the consequence? They were about to give up. The risk wasn't losing money. The risk was guaranteeing that their kid's college dream would just become more student debt, all because they didn't have a pile of cash to start. Now, before we move ahead, I'm just curious, what's the single biggest thing that's holding you back from your first fix and flip deal? Is it finding a property? Is it the fear of funding? Let me know in the comments section below, and I can read and respond to as many as I possibly can. So, we have a couple with a great goal, but the plan was blocked by a $100,000 cash wall, a barrier. But then they found one of my older YouTube videos, and they signed up for our Find, Fund, Flip system. This is the only fix and flip system in the market that provides you with everything you need to become successful in this industry. This system teaches you everything about fix and flip real estate. This system gives you exclusive access to a software that helps you find off-market deals. These are deals that the majority of the market can't ever find out there. And most importantly, this system gets you access to our hard money up to 100% financing with no monthly payments. So for the couple, the first step we had to take was to find. We used our proprietary software that our students have access to find great deals. The concept is really quite simple. You can't get 100% financing on a bad deal, period. The gurus tell you to look up on public websites or the MLS or find a real estate agent, but those are the last places to find a really good deal. But we don't just need to find deals, we need to find off-market property deals with verified profits that have good opportunities. So we went into the software where we're not guessing, we're just looking at exactly what's happening here. And this is the software. Let's just pick somewhere. Let's just come and look at some funding areas we lend. And I'm just gonna, let's just do Missouri. Okay, let's just do Missouri and see. Let's just see. I'm just gonna randomly look at this. Biggest city in Missouri. Okay. Kansas City. Okay, so I'm just going to come back over here and I'm going to put Kansas City. So I don't know anything about Kansas City, but what I do know is that there's opportunity here, and let me show you why. There's some filters that I put on here, and these are pre-built filters that we have, and we do these for everybody just to make it really easy, and we keep them at the top. So this is a filter. If you come here to the filters, you can see exactly. So this is residential properties only, properties that are not listed on the MLS, where the involuntary lien is $5,000 or more. Okay, that's what we're looking at here. And when I look at that, there's 624 properties that meet that criteria. We also make sure that these have enough equity in them, so we can see equity and value, and make sure they're under $500,000 and they've got at least 30% equity. So think about this. These guys have 30% or more equity and they have an involuntary lien. What that means is they have a lien on their home that they didn't ask to be on there, which means they're in a financial situation. And the lien we're looking at is at least $5,000 or more. So let's look at some of these properties and see what's going on here. So this looks like a condo. This looks like another condo. I can narrow this down if I want to. I mean, you can totally invest in condos, or you can also come here and be like, I just want single family homes. No problem. Let's come over here and look at these single family homes and see there's a single family house. Property conditions poor. This is the intelligence, what's going on with it. This is the opportunity. These guys do not owe anything on the property, but they have this involuntary lien for $130,000, okay? So this lien could foreclose on the property, especially since they don't have any open mortgages, and actually take the property. So I could do these guys a big service by helping them get this paid so they wouldn't have to go through the foreclosure or anything else. That's just one example. So we went into the software, the finding software, so we're not guessing. We can also look for pre-foreclosures. So these are bankruptcy. These are pre-foreclosures right here that meet the same criterias. We can also come up here and just be like, hey, let's just clear the filters. And I just want to come to tired landlords. And I can come in here and I want to make sure that they've got at least 30% of equity as a minimum. And I like to do things that are under about $500,000. And so we can view those properties. And so I also, one of the things I'll do when I'm dealing with landlords is I want to make sure I'm not dealing with the smaller properties. So let's say it's got to be worth at least 150,000. And this is going to change based upon your area and those types of things. So, here's tired landlords. So we can target them in specific zip codes or in specific cities. We can get as granular as you'd like to within a few minutes. So we did that, and within a few minutes, we found a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that was a perfect target. We ran the numbers. The purchase price was $190,000. The rehab needed was about $50,000, and the software using real-time data projected an after-repaired value of $305,000. Let me show you exactly how this works. You can come here, and this is going to say the equity is 184, estimated value is 184,000. They don't owe any money on it, and we think these guys are a burnt out landlord. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. Now that we found a great deal that's verifiable, we had to pull the second and most important step, which is to fund this deal. This is the main solution Steve and Amanda feared, was the cash here. And Investor's Edge, our promise is we can do up to 100% financing. Because they were our students and they use their own software, and it proved a way of having a high profit deal, our in-house hard money lending services did what the bank simply would not do. We funded 100% of the $190,000. That was the purchase and 100% of the $50,000 rehab. So the total into this deal was $250,000. And how much of their own cash did they put into the deal? Zero. Their $20,000 life savings never left their bank account. We took on the financing risk because our system has a proven track record and there wasn't as much risk. It had a more predictable outcome. And this brings us to the final step, which is to flip. This is our education and mentorship that our students get access to. Steve was a project manager, but he had no idea about how to actually do a fix and flip. The goal of our education is to give you step-by-step playbook so that you're not learning with $10,000 or $100,000 mistakes. Steve and Amanda didn't just get a loan. They got a team of real estate investing professionals. They used our vendor qualifier to vet contractors. And once it was done, we ran other checks to make sure those vendors hit all the boxes necessary to be successful. So when they found the unexpected termite damage on this fix and flip property, they didn't have to panic. They got on a mentorship call. We walked them through the exact process. They finished the rehab in 52 days. And because they used our system, they came in $4,000 under their rehab budget. So we have a great plan, but that plan is useless if it can't survive the final test. And that final test is profit. The main indicator for a fix and flip is the final settlement statement. Let's look at the numbers. They purchased the property for $190,000. Their rehab costs were $46,000. Their total holding costs were $14,000, and their all-in costs were $250,000. And the final resale price after 7 days, only 7 days on the market, was $305,000. And with that final sale, the plan was complete. So let's step back and summarize the incredible transformation we have just witnessed. Let's look at this as a quantifiable victory statement. 305 minus their $250,000 all-in cost gave them a net profit of $55,000. But this isn't just about the numbers. It's about the emotional transformation. They went from being paralyzed by needing over $100,000 in cash to being armed with a system that let them do it for $0 out of pocket. And $55,000, that's not just a profit, That's their dream lifestyle unlocked. That's their 529 plan for their kid that will fully pay for the college funded by one deal. That is the confidence and clarity that a real estate system provides. So now, you're seeing what was possible for Steve and Amanda. You might be wondering, what does this mean for your own situation? And that is exactly why I put this video together. I put together a free video training that walks you through how to get up to 100% financing for your very first fix and flip deal. Even if you're starting with no cash, it's the exact same system we used here. To watch it now, just click the first link in the description below. I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.